Hello everyone, I am Devika. Here I would like to explain the concept of multilateral treaty. Now I would like to give the introduction. The Latin root of treaty is a tractate, which means handle. When two nations sign a treaty, they decide to handle things according to rules defined in their agreement. The word treaty is derived from the language of Latin, which means handle. When two nations sign a treaty, they decide to handle things according to the rules defined in their agreement. In another words, in other words, a treaty is an international agreement concluded between two or more sovereign states. Sovereign status means having a permanent population, defined territory, one government, and the capacity to enter into a relation with other sovereign states. It is also normally understood that a sovereign status is independent. A treaty in written form and governed by international law, whether embodied in a single instrument or in two or more related instruments. A treaty is an international agreement between two or more sovereign states a treaty is in written form and it is governed by international law. The types of treaty: there are three types of treaties: bilateral treaties, trilateral treaties, multilateral treaties. Bilateral treaties means it is an agreement between international agreement between two states, and trilateral treaties means it is an international agreement between three states. Now we will see the multilateral treaty. So, meaning of multilateral treaty: a multilateral treaty is a treaty to which three or more sovereign states are parties. Each party owes the same obligation to all other parties, except to the extent that they have state reservation. So, a multilateral treaty is a one type of a treaty. So, it is between three or more sovereign states. Um, and each party have a same obligation to all other parties, except to the extent that they have stated reservations. So in other words, treaties between large number of states, usually denoting a participation by a majority of the world states. So multilateral treaty means is a treaty between a large number of states. um, in a multilateral treaty, majority of the world states are participated. Multilateral treaties covers practically every substantive field of international law, from human rights to interstate agreement on matters such as a trade or transportation. So here multilateral treaties covers um, every substantive field of international law, from human rights to interstate agreement on matters such as a trade or transportation. So, examples of multilateral treaties. The some example for multilateral treaties are Convention relating to the status of refugees, United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, Geneva Conventions, Rome Statute of the International Criminal Court. Next we will see the Convention relating to the status of refugees. The Convention relating to the status of refugees, also known as 1951 Refugee Convention or the Geneva Convention of 28 July 1951. So refugees are people who have fled war, violence, conflict, or persecution, and have crossed an international border to find safety in another country. So this convention also defines who a refugee is, and it also set out the rights of individual who are granted asylum, and the responsibility of the nation that grant asylum. Asylum means the protection granted by a state to someone who has left their home country as a political refugee. The convention also set out which people do not qualify as a refugee, such as war criminals. The convention also provides for some visa free travel for holders of refugee travel documents issued under the convention. So this convention also provides visa free travel for the holders having a refugee travel document. So visa free travel means the ability to travel a foreign country without the need for travel visa. And a refugee travel document means is a travel document issued to a refugee by the state in which they normally reside, in allowing them to travel outside that the state and to return them. The convention relating to the status of refugees. So here green color represent the parties to only the 1951 convention, and yellow color represent the parties to only the 1967 protocol, and dark green color is represent the both parties to both, that is parties to only to 1951 convention and parties to only the 1967 protocol, and gray color represent the non-members to the convention relating to the status of refugees. So next we will see the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. The United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, UNCLOS, also called the Law of the Sea Convention or the Law of the Sea Treaty. So this convention also called as Law of the Sea Convention or the Law of the Sea Treaty. It is an international agreement that establishes a legal framework for all marine and maritime activities. So, this treaty established a legal framework for all marine and maritime activities. So, there is a difference between marine and maritime activities. So, marine activity directly related to the sea and its creature, but maritime is used most often in connection with seafaring, with the sea travel, shipping and exploration, and the aspect of the sea in relation to those activities. As of June 2016, 167 countries and the European Union are parties. The logo of the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. Geneva Convention. The Geneva Convention are 4 treaties and 3 additional protocols that establish international legal standard for humanitarian treatment in war. So in Geneva Convention there are 4 treaties and 3 additional protocols. The Geneva Convention extensively defined the basic right of the wartime prisoner. The wartime prisoners are civilian and military personnel, and established protection for the wounded and sick, and provide protection for the civilians in and around a war zone. So this Geneva Convention is defines the basic rights of the civilian and military personnel, and it provides protection for the wounded and sick, and it also provides the protection to the civilians in and around the war zone. Moreover, the Geneva Convention also defines the rights and protection afforded to non-combatants. Non-combatants is a person who is not engaged fighting during war, especially a civilian, army chaplain or army doctor. They are not engaged in war. The Geneva Convention concern only combatants in war. Combatants means they are engaged in war. They do not address the use of weapons of war, which are the subject to the Hague Conventions and the Biochemical Warfare Geneva Protocol. So this Geneva Convention is a concern only combatants in war. Combatants means they are engaged in a war. So next we will see the Rome Statute of International Criminal Court. So the International Criminal Court is located at The Hague in Netherlands. The Rome Statute of the International Criminal Court is the treaty that established the International Criminal Court, that is International Criminal Court in The Hague. Okay. It was adopted at a diplomatic conference in Rome, Italy on 17 July 1998, and it entered into force on 1st July 2002. As the November 2019, 123 states are party to the statute. Among other things, the statute established the court's functions, jurisdiction, and structure. Okay. The Rome Statute established four core international crimes: genocide, crime against humanity, war crimes, and crimes of aggression. So, genocide means the deliberate killing of a large number of people from a particular nation. International and crime against humanity means crime against humanity includes murder, torture, sexual violence, enslavement, and enforced disappearance, etc. um, and crime of aggression. So crime of aggression means is a specific type of crime where a person plans, initiates, or executes an act of aggression using state military force that violates the charter of the United Nations. So war crimes means committed during the time of war. So these are the four international crimes. Under the Rome Statute, the ICC can only investigate and prosecute the four core international crimes in a situation where the states are unable or unwilling to do so themselves. The jurisdiction of the court is complementary to the jurisdiction of domestic courts. So here, International Criminal Court only investigate and prosecute the four core international crimes in a situation where the states are unable or unwilling to do so themselves. So thank you.